Hello and welcome to today's January 1st daily news report, as well as ongoing stimulus package information video. If you're a subscribed member of my community, then welcome back. On this channel, I keep you in the loop on what's going on in Washington, D.C., the U.S. economy, with President Biden and his Build Back Better stimulus package, money, investing, and much, much more. All right, don't forget, in the month of January, Casey and I are giving away $15,000 thanks to generous sponsors. I will leave a link down below so that you can learn all of the details of that and get your name entered. You can enter each day, and we will draw the winners at the end of the month. So we're excited to give that money away. Okay, now politicians are back in Washington, D.C., ready to get back to work for their voters. Democrats have several major planning points on their plate, and they've got to deal with them quickly. They want to figure out how to move Biden's Build Back Better stimulus package bill forward with enough Democrat senators voting to pass Biden's agenda. Democrats also have publicly said that they want to abolish the filibuster so that they can push through their ideas of a voter rights bill. So this is their third time trying to push through this voter rights bill, but they need all of their members on board. Democrats also need to figure out whether they can pass the stimulus package or not, and if not, do they move to standalone bills to help the American people that are still struggling, and also to renew the child tax credit monthly checks program? Now, many worry that Democrats will hold on to this idea of passing the $2 trillion stimulus bill as one massive bill because otherwise they won't be able to get enough votes for the $550 billion they want to put towards green energy. So they need it all to be one lumped in package in order to get it passed, according to many analysts. So there's a lot going on right now, and much of these changes will affect your wallet in 2022. Now, the number one issue that Americans say they want the White House to focus on is inflation. But it looks like inflation is kind of on the back burner to voting rights and also Biden's Build Back Better bill. Republicans, on the other hand, say that they are going to continue to hold the line and uphold the filibuster. They will also continue to block the Build Back Better bill, or at least try to make it smaller. Many Republicans are saying, in their opinion or from their ideology, that this will be a future massive tax hike on the middle class. It's the only way to pay for it, they say. Now, regarding the voting rights bill, Democrats say that they don't want to see voter ID. They want even earlier voting, and they don't want restrictions on voting drop boxes, such as 24-hour surveillance, things like that. Some of them have gone as far as to say that if you make somebody show your ID, you are a racist. Republicans think just the opposite. Republicans say that they want only U.S. citizens with proper ID to be able to vote. They want to limit early voting, and they say they're fine with drop boxes, but they shouldn't be available 24 hours a day. Now, I've made both sides' opinions very simple. But the truth is there is a major difference in thinking when it comes to government leaders from each party when it comes to voting here in the United States. However, Senators Sinema and Manchin say that they will vote for the voting right bill, but not if it requires the removal of the filibuster. They believe that the filibuster should remain in place. In their first major move, since releasing 1.5 days of oil from the Strategic Oil Reserve, the White House announced today that it will spend $1 billion on small meat producers in order to try to help with the meat inflation that we're feeling here in the United States. In most parts of the country, meat is up over 20%. The White House said in a public comment today that the middlemen of the meat market are sucking profits away from small farmers, ranchers, and producers while simultaneously raising prices on consumer. So basically, they're glutting themselves on the misfortune of the meat producers and the misfortune of the American consumer. That's from the White House. The Biden administration mentioned that they have quietly been trying to positively affect meat prices for months, but nothing has worked. And that's why they're publicly announcing that they will be throwing $1 billion at this new meat initiative to try to bring down the price of meat. Regarding the Build Back Better stimulus bill, Senator Joe Manchin said he told the White House with a few changes, he will back the bill, but he wants to support a bill that actually taxes the billionaires. If the billionaires aren't taxed, then there isn't enough money to fund the programs, and the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Many analysts believe Senator Manchin will change parties to become an independent sometime in 2022, but will likely continue to vote with Democrats, similar to what we see with independent Senator Bernie Sanders. So Senator Manchin seems to be re-engaging with the stimulus package, but wants his party to actually tax the rich, like they've been saying, in order to get his vote. Senator Ron Wyden is the one asking for a billionaire tax on anyone that earns over $100 million a year. This targets about 700 people. Manchin said he's a little bit hung up on these 700 people being targeted because these people employ a lot of Americans. They house a lot of Americans, and they make most of the charitable donations that help Americans. So he said he does have worries about targeting a specific group, but if we're going to continue to say this bill is paid for and we're going to tax the rich, then we actually have to tax the rich, according to Senator Manchin. The January 6th anniversary of the Capitol breach is coming up later this week. Our divided country will be having a divided response. President Biden and Vice President Harris plan to give speeches that day. Former President Trump also plans to give a speech on that day, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she will hold a prayer vigil in honor of those that died. 2021 was a great year if you were already rich. Billionaires grew their wealth by over $400 billion, while the middle class shrank significantly when it came to their net worth. And those that are on fixed incomes suddenly found themselves scrambling for how to pay for basic needs. However, a major contention still within Biden's Build Back Better bill was the promise to tax the rich. The millionaires and the billionaires, they say, should have higher taxes as well as a minimum 3% surcharge that no tax write-offs can erase. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, about 60 days ago, this flipped, and taxing the wealthy was suddenly off the table, giving them a $600 billion increase. Now, what happened is former President Trump put a lid or a cap on these SALT tax deductions, and now Democrats want to remove that. But there is a tear between the Democrats. Some say we need to remove that in order to help the wealthy, and others say this directly goes against everything we've been saying. We said we were going to tax the rich, now we're going to enrich the rich. So there's still some issue there with the SALT tax deductions. As of right now, removing the SALT tax cap is in the bill that Senator Chuck Schumer hopes Manchin and Sinema will support. But Manchin has said publicly he does want to see a billionaire tax, and Senator Sinema has remained quiet on the topic. Twitter has permanently banned House Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Many Democrats say she is too bold and doesn't belong in Congress. Yet, according to articles I read, she is outraising most Democrats when it comes to fundraising for 2022. Twitter said that they kicked her off because she had shared COVID misinformation too many times. Dr. Fauci said this weekend that vaccinated people should stop eating at restaurants. He then gave some very bizarre advice that kind of went against itself and left many people confused. Now, I'm going to say what he said word for word because I don't want to get in trouble for telling you what's in the news because these are his words. But when he said when it comes to going to restaurants or getting together with family and friends, here's what he said, quote, We are seeing people who are vaccinated and boosted who are getting breakthrough infections. So when you're in a situation where you have so many infections going out, the thing that you want to say is that if you want to do this like that, better do them in a setting where you know people around you are vaccinated and boosted. So that was confusing in and of itself, but basically he's saying vaccinated and boosted people are getting sick and infected. Then 2 seconds later, he said, if you're going to spend time with anybody, make sure that they're vaccinated and boosted people. So kind of putting out some mixed signals there. Same thing with the CDC. They're now saying that you only have to quarantine for 5 days, but most people I know that got COVID said by day 5, they definitely were not feeling better. So Fauci has said that definition may be changing. So again, I'm just letting you know day to day what's going on. The stock market seems to be shrugging off the Omicron worry. The first day of trading in 2022 saw the stock market climbing very, very fast. So it's definitely what they call a green day, with many stocks jumping 4 to 10% in one day, right? I saw a lot of my stocks jump right back up. Tesla jumped over 7% with new data coming out about how many cars they shipped. And Ford, thanks to their new electric cars, saw an over 4% jump just today. So things are definitely moving within the stock market again. Ethereum and Bitcoin took a tumble, but this is typical and will likely recover. That's just kind of common. Crypto has big swings up and down. But I'll be telling you more about some great stock opportunities and also some non-stock money tip ideas here in the very near future. But Ethereum is one that I definitely want to share with my community. Senator Ted Cruz is trying to round up 60 votes in the Senate to put restrictions or tariffs on Biden's approved Russia Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Senator Cruz said it isn't fair to enrich Russia and provide them with affordable oil while shutting down pipelines here in the United States and making gas more expensive. He already has the support of 50 Republican senators, but will have a hard time peeling 10 Democrats off to vote with him. But that is what's going on in the Senate today. By the way, thank you guys so much for giving this video a like. I really appreciate it, and I just love bringing you guys the news. Now, this is my update for today. As I know more, I will definitely come on and share more. A lot's going to be happening. Congress's plate is absolutely full, and they've got to move very, very quickly. So we could see a lot of news coming out with changes or modifications, and I'll be here all week long. I'm back in the office now, so all week long, keeping you in the loop on what's really going on. Before you go, make sure to get your name added to be one of the winners of the $15,000 that Casey and I are giving away. 20 people are going to win $250 in cash, and one person's going to win $10,000, $5,000 to keep and $5,000 to share with someone that they love. We call it the Share the Love event, where we're going to help you help someone that you love. Now, before you go, I just want to remind you that you are amazing. I appreciate you being in my community, and I'll see you on the next video.